What is going on, everybody? Vex30 here, coming in with another highly requested video that I said I was going to do a week ago when I first started getting back in this week. We're going to do a champion chat on IO today. Now, if you never watched a champion chat before, be sure to look on the top right, the I button, and go watch the other champion chats. They're pretty interesting. They're from old patches and old metas, but it gives you an idea how these go. But I'll tell you how they go anyway. Basically, this first part, we're going to go through the champion page of IO, the whole thing, check everything out about her, and we're going to talk about her skins, her look, her loadouts, her abilities, her everything. Anything that you can find on the champion page, we're going to talk about and give our opinions on. And then the second part of this, we are going to move on to just showing gameplay of IO, and just sitting here and talking about our opinion on her in the meta, where we think she's going to be. Is she viable? At what tiers is she viable? So, that's a champion chat. This is it. Let's jump right into it. So, champions, IO. Let's get it. First thing, overview. Let's check her mastery awards. Nothing. Yeah, there's really nothing. I want to see here. What's her title? The Shattered Goddess? I like that. I like that a lot. Nothing really more on the overview. Normal 2200 HP for support. Skins. Now, the skins are kind of nice. This here's default IO. To be honest, looks absolutely amazing. One of the best default skins, I think, in the game, just because the amount of detail you can see in this is absolutely amazing. Just honestly, the bow is probably my favorite part, just because it reminds me of old Cassie. This here, I think, is her gold reskin. It kind of just turns her into a fox, as you can see by the tail. She has a normal tail, you know, it's kind of like, and then boom, fox. She's got the ears and everything, fox ears. It's just a recolor, but it looks pretty cool. This one is if you pick up the season pass, I believe, for Paladins. That's why I have it. It again, I think it's just another recolor. She has stockings on now, or leggings, sorry, and it just kind of turns her more into a lunar color, a full lunar nighttime color. Pretty interesting. And then Golden IO, all the new golden skins are absolutely amazing. Paladins, the way they do them now is way better than what they could have done before. I think they had that issue in Smite where they made the whole skin gold, like even the skin on the character gold. But now, I don't remember how it was originally in Paladins, because it's been a while. I don't know if gold skins were released like this, or released like everything gold, but this way is so much better. I'm very happy. The weapons are all the same loadout. So this is the interesting part about IO. I did a build guide on all supports the other day. If you want to go check that out, I go through all these builds. But let's go through her cards and talk about her cards rather than her builds. So first thing first, actually, before we do this, let's talk about her abilities first, because it'll make more sense when I say Guardian Spirit if we go through all this. So her lipo. IO, a goddess weapon. It's kind of weird. IO fires her weapon, does 400 damage over 0.6 seconds. Every 0.6 seconds, she does 400 damage. That's not bad, and it's pretty good for a support, to be honest. So she does pretty good damage. The projectile is close to Cassie's projectile, so it's pretty easy to hit. Pretty good damage for a support. Moonlight, hold and channel Moonlight into an ally, healing them for 135 every 0.15 seconds. That's pretty nice. Her heal is, I think, it's about 3/4 of Sarah's heal. Now, I don't, with these videos, I don't really do the math and the numbers, but all I know is that's higher than most supports in the game. I think Sarah's tops her off. And then maybe Grok Totem does a little bit more healing, but it's a very high healing right click on a single target, which is very nice. The healing is very nice. The only problem with it is you have to have line of sight on the person you are trying to heal. So that kind of hurts a little bit, but next patch, that's going to be helped out a little bit. So that'll make her even more better. Lunar Leap, quickly jump backwards through the air. It's on a 10-second cooldown. Now, this is her movement ability. It's okay. It's not the best. At a higher level, you'll be able to get killed through it pretty easy. The jump is very predictable. One thing nice with it, though, is you can engage with it. So when you're standing there facing forward, you jump backwards. If you're standing there facing somebody and you turn away from them and then jump, you jump over them. So that's a very interesting thing about her dash. There's a couple things you can do with it, a couple cards that make it better, but it's an okay ability. Guardian Spirit, the big one on IO. Summon Luna to fight alongside you. Luna will rush and stun enemies that have been marked with your lipo every 15 seconds. Luna can be resummoned to a new location every 8 seconds. So, what that means, let me break that down on an 18-second cooldown. When you start a fight, you summon Luna. anywhere you want, pretty close to you, unless you have a card that increases the range. Pretty close to you. Luna will constantly be doing damage to enemies with an attack chain that's 180, 180, I think 300 or 400. I think that's the attack chain. And then when an enemy is close, you can mark them with your light bow, and Luna will rush and stun the enemy. The thing with that is it's not that good right now, because what happens is if you mark the enemy and your Luna just starts to do the stun animation, which it takes a second, and they hide, it immediately breaks off the stun and takes the cooldown, which you can see on the bottom left of your screen, which I will show you whenever we moved on to the gameplay. The redeploy every 8 seconds. Now, whenever you place Luna, Luna's there. Luna sits there. Luna does whatever Luna does there for a while. And every 8 seconds, you can redeploy Luna. Now, again, there's cards that help with that, which I like personally and we'll go into, but it's a pretty high redeploy time, so you have to be very careful where you put Luna, because you really don't want Luna dying, because she is a vital part of your kit. And one reason why she's very vital is she can cap and push payloads. Now, the way they designed Io is that she has 2 champions. So that's why they gave Luna the ability, even though she's a deployable, she's kind of like a Yang clone in a way. They can cap point. You can set Luna on point and it will cap. It's just Luna. I'm sure everybody knows that by now, but it's a very interesting mechanic that adds a whole nother level of skill to Io. And her ultimate, Be Gone. Project an ethereal manifestation of Luna and send it forward. Enemies caught will be pulled along the travel path and take 800 damage when it collides with the wall. This ultimate is not the best support ultimate in the game. It's not the worst. I went over it more in depth whenever I went through the tier list for this patch about Io. I think the worst support ultimate in the game is Ceres, and I think Io is a very close second, possibly third to that. I would say it's probably the second worst ultimate in the game for supports. It just isn't that good. It has its uses, very good uses. It's not countered very easily, but it's very slow, you can tell it's very predictable. So, it's not bad, it's not good, it's okay. Now her talents. 3 talents, which I think all are viable. Lifelink. Luna now heals allies around her 300 health per second. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Luna has either 25 or 50 unit range for the healing, which is very, very good. This healing, if you place it correctly and keep it redeployed all the time so enemies can't hit it, this healing can really add up over time. It's kind of like it's very close to one Damba pocket on somebody. You put the dog next to point, or hide it next to point, or hide it next to an ally in the back line, and they just have constant pockets. It's super nice. I think it's the main support legendary for Io. The second one, though, Goddess Blessing. Allies healed by Moonlight gain 25% damage reduction. Now this one, I think, is the main off support legendary talent for Io. I think this one, if you can focus more on pocketing 1 or 2 people with a certain build, you can really let them excel and pop off. I don't think it'll be used as a main support legendary, just because it's just not enough healing with your right click, and having Luna heal is also a very good self-sustain for yourself. So, DR, do I think it's good? Yes. Do I think it's going to be the main support legendary or talent? No. Sacrifice. This is another interesting one. If Io falls below 200 health while Luna is active, she trades place with Luna, heals, and Luna dies in her stead. So, what this is, to be exact, you place Luna in your backline, right? You keep it alive. You go in, you dive in, you make a play, kill somebody, and they knock you below 200 health instantly. You make an animation, you teleport to your dog is sacrificed, but you get all your health back and you are at where your dog was. And usually you should have your dog in a safe place. But no matter where your doggo is, Luna, as long as it's alive, you will take its place. Luna will die for you, you'll come back full health. I think this has some potential in competitive for a very dive heavy, a poke heavy, and then a dive. Like Io can dive very easily, go into the back line, just harass people, die, spawn on Luna, and then keep poking from her backline. So I think this talent has some viability. I keep trying to say legendary. It is ingrained in my head. I think it has viability, but I don't think it'll be the main off support. So we'll see. We'll see how she develops. Now let's talk about cards really quick. First, Guardian Spirit. Luna. Increase deploy range by 20%. This is actually a pretty good card. It's not something I personally run in my builds, which I'll show quickly more towards the end of this first half. But deploy range is good. It's not the best. I don't think it's necessary if you're constantly redeploying, though having it maybe 2 or 3 could be good on certain builds, certain maps. It's something I'll have to play more around with. Barrel strength. Luna gains 200 health. I don't think it's very good because of Bulldozer. It'll just slow down the inevitable of Bulldozer. It'll make it more tanky early game, but it just doesn't matter when Bulldozer comes online. So I don't think you run Feral Strength. Lunar Connection. Reduce the time the initial deploy by 1.2 seconds. This card is not necessary at all. Not a very good card. I would not run it. As long as you are microing Luna properly, you do not need this card. Protectors. Luna restores 2% Moonlight every 1 second in a 30-foot range. 30 foot, 30 unit. That's what Luna's range is. Okay. So basically, Luna restores your Moonlight, which Moonlight works off of a... It doesn't say that in the tooltip, does it? Let me explain this. So the way Moonlight Io's heal works, as you will see in the gameplay, it has a resource bar. As you heal, that resource bar goes down. As you stop healing, it recharges. She has multiple cards that help her recharge that Moonlight faster, and this is one of them. So, as long as you're by Luna, you gain extra percentage Moonlight every 1 second. Pretty good. This is a card I actually run in one of my builds. Crescent. I think this is a card that's really good. Here, let's read it first. Dropping below 15% of your max health reduces the cooldown of Lunar Leap by 100%. So this is a get out of jail free card. If you get low, you dash. You're low again, you dash again. That's all it means. You get to about half health, you dash, you try to save yourself. They knock you below, say you have the card at level 3, 45% health. You're half, you jump, they hit you again, you jump again. You get major distance, but you're not immune. You don't go very far, you don't go very high, and you're pretty easy to hit. Why is that coming up? There we go. I think this card is good, but I don't think it's amazing. Eternal Reliquary. I can never say that word right. Lunar Leap restores 2 ammo. Not necessary. Full Moon. Gain 100 health shield for 3 seconds after you use Lunar Leap. This could be pretty good on a good off support build like the Sacrifice build. I'm pretty interested to see who runs this and if it's ran at all. I think it is very, very good, to be honest, on an off support build. Half Moon. Reduce the cooldown of Lunar Leap by 0.6 seconds. It's good. It's a good card. I don't think you can fit it into builds, but it's a nice card. That's all our Lunar Leap cards. Let's talk about Moonlight. Restored Faith. Healing with Moonlight heals IO 10 health per, It doesn't explain this very well. This is a weird... The wording on this is very weird. Healing with Moonlight heals IO 10 health. So every tick of Moonlight you get on somebody, so every 100... I think it's 35, 130. Every tick you do on somebody, you get this much health per tick. So I run this at level 4 in my main build, so I get 40 health per tick, and there's 5 ticks in 1 second. So it's pretty good. Quick Mass, 200. I get 200 health a second. Jeez, I am slow today. I am sorry. But it's pretty nice. You have to run this card. Sanctum of Faith. Regenerates 1% Moonlight every 1 second when not using Moonlight. I don't think this card is necessary, because there are 2 other cards. This one, Protectors, and another card down the list that is just better than this one, and there's really no reason to run it. Because when you're not using Moonlight, you're auto-attacking and you're standing by Luna, and this is only 1%. Maybe if it was 2%, like the other 2 cards, it could be good. But at 1%, it's not worth it. Spirit Arrows. Healing with Moonlight reduces the cooldown of Luna's redeploy by 0.1 seconds. This card is very, very nice. For the reason of you need to be microing Luna all the time. You have to keep Luna in a very good position. And as long as you're healing with your Moonlight, you are getting that redeploy down from 8 seconds, down to 6, down to 4, down to 1. Boom, you got redeploy up way quicker than you thought you should have. It basically reduces 8 to 4 if you're healing with Moonlight for the full 4 seconds. If you have it at level 2, sorry, I didn't explain that. At level 2, it cuts the cooldown in half as long as you're healing with Moonlight constantly. Swift Arrows. This card, allies gain 8% movement speed while being healed by Moonlight. This card is not as viable on main support builds, but is more viable on off support builds that you are constantly pocketing one person. It is a pretty interesting card, and it's something I'm playing around with. That's it for Moonlight. Armor and Weapon. Celestial Body, plus 50 health. Boom, that's it. Base. It's very nice. I run it in my main build. I run it at 4, so I get 200 extra health. Luna has to stand in the open to heal, as everybody knows by now, so the health is very nice to have. Moonlight Garden hits with your light bow Restore 2% Moonlight. This is her best restore card for Moonlight because you are auto attacking, or you should be auto attacking a lot on Io, and you should be hitting your shots. You know, it's not too hard, not too difficult, and if you practice around with it more, you're gonna hit your shots. Moonlight, Moonwalk, and Skywalker. We'll pair these two together. Lower your gravity, increase air control by 50% while using Moonlight. Lower your gravity, increase air control by 50% while firing a light bow. These cards are kind of fun cards. Maybe as an off support you can run. I don't think Moonlight is very good. I think Skywalker is the one you're looking at the most. Say you're on Timbermill and you just feel like, because it goes up by 10%, up to 90%. You want to go to their side high ground. They don't have a sniper or something. I don't know. Typically, a sniper won't let you just fly across the map and hit you for free. They're going to snipe you out of the air. But what you can do is lunar leap into the air and then shoot your light bow and keep that momentum and go all the way across to the other side. Pretty fun. It's a pretty fun card to use. And that's it for our cards. Quickly on the loadouts, this is my main loadout. It's a loadout designed around playing around the Luna Healing Legendary, and it's a main support build. This one is a solo pocketing build, like you're pocketing one person, you're trying to keep them alive. And this one is for off support. This is something more like Sacrifice you could run this with. And that is it for Luna. That's all. Or Io. Jeez, I keep calling it Luna. That is it for Io. But there's a second part of this, so stick around. We're going to be jumping over there in a second. Second part's going to be me giving my opinion, talking about her viability in the meta, talking about all that. Honestly, it's going to be the more interesting part. These were just more facts about Io, who Io is as a champion. And next, we're going to give our opinions, so let's jump right over there. Alright, so let's talk about Io. Io, to start, is one of the more interesting art directions I've seen in Paladins. Io, in a sense, looks a little bit out of place when it comes to Paladins. She looks too good to be in Paladins. Just a little note I thought I add, she looks amazing, but she looks a little bit out of place in a way. I don't know if that was meant to be, but it still looks amazing. She looks great. So another thing is her design. She's very interesting. They went for a shattered goddess look. It works. What they did works. The color scheme, the skins they added, the first couple skins, the lunar one and her default one really follow that that lore they're going for, that design they're going for the champion, and so do her abilities. Her abilities also follow that, with her summoning a lunar goddess dog named Luna that is basically a second person, or a sixth person on the battlefield. That's one of the more interesting things when it comes to Io, is she is two people. Luna is a person and Io is a person. That makes that champion just extremely high skill cap, and it's very interesting because when you add a second, when you have to micro two different things, ask any StarCraft player or any RTS player, microing can be really stressful and difficult at times, and that's something they have added into a first-person shooter, and FPSs are already, well, as some FPSs are less stressful, but when you have a hero shooter FPS where it's a 5v5 team and you have roles, it's stressful. You're a support already. You have to keep an eye on your team, make sure you're outputting damage, make sure you communicate to your team at the highest level, and then you also have to micro another champion, which is Luna, constantly, and making sure it's in a good position. That's what I think is very interesting about her ability set. Her dash, though, is something that is very her dash and her ultimate are lackluster on Io. I think those are two things holding her back. I like the idea of the leap, but it just doesn't do enough. It doesn't. Maybe if it went a little bit faster or a little bit higher, it would feel better, but it doesn't feel amazing. It feels okay, right? It's not bad, but it doesn't feel like I think they were going for it. I think if you give it a little more height, a little more speed, it'd feel a lot better. And then her ultimate is very underwhelming, but can make for some huge, absolutely huge playmaking potential, because the ultimate grabs people when you throw it, as you saw in the gameplay, as you're seeing in the gameplay here, or as you will watch. It grabs people as it goes along, and it pulls them until the end, and it hits that thing, whatever it runs into, a wall or whatever, and it blows up for 800 damage. What you can do with that ultimate is throw it off the map, aim it for off the map, grabs them on its way off the map, and it just takes them all the way off the map. That's where the playmaking comes. It also can be very useful as a counter ult. Now, one of the perfect prime examples of that is as an Ashe is coming down from her ultimate, rally here, and then boom, hits her flag onto the ground, right? As you see that happening, you know where she's going to land. You throw that ultimate at that landing spot, and you send her across the map out of that ultimate. Her team, either she's forced to dash back in her ult, which she usually wants to use the dash to get out of her ult, or she has to walk her slow butt all the way back into that circle, and your team can focus and kill her. So either you're going to force a ton of cooldowns she didn't want to use, or she's dead and her ultimate's useless. So it's useful as a counter ult. There's a lot of uses for it that I still haven't figured out. And again, that goes into the high skill cap of IO. There's so many different things you can do with the ultimate, with the builds, with the microing, and what else? What is her right click? Sorry, her right click is the final one I want to talk about, because it's good, but it's not good yet. It's really good because it has very high healing output. Doesn't have the most range in the game, which is okay because the rest of her kit is really good. I'll accept that. But next patch, what they're going to do is let it to where you heal somebody and you step behind a wall. You have a 1 second timer. That heal is still on the person through the wall, which is absolutely amazing. So that means now, instead of just standing in the open having to heal people as IO, you can shoulder peek that wall, and you can shoulder peek out, peek in, peek the wall for like 0.8 seconds, and then peek out and keep the heal going. Because after a second, the heal breaks. But if you line of sight the person and then get line of sight on the person, it keeps the heal going. So that's going to be a big change next patch. But this patch, the heal is a little bit, it's not very conducive. It's not very good to use. It doesn't feel good. It feels really good because of the healing output, but the fact that you have to hide half the time, and or the fact that you have to stand in the open and then hide right after because you're scared you're about to get blown up or you just took a lot of damage, doesn't feel very good. When it comes to our talents, though, I think the talents are some of the best. It's very nice when a champion can use all three of their talents. There's a lot of champions in Paladins that uses one, maybe two. Nowadays, it's starting to get closer to three on some champions, like Drogo's. Drogo's, Fusillade, Combustible, and Wormjets are all viable. But on champions like, let's take a Gnar, for instance, right-click at a competitive level, right-click is the only one that's really viable, is the DR. You will very rarely see somebody run Cripple, and never see somebody run the Wall Legendary, which I don't even know the name of it. It's just like supports. When you're running Genos as a healer, all you do is pick Luminary. Nothing else is viable on Genos as a healer. So, Io, I always want to call her Luna. Io, she has the AoE healing legendary on her dog, which feels very nice. It feels amazing. Lifelink. It feels great because you can just put your dog by somebody and have a secondary healing source, which is great on supports, having two sources of healing. And then you have Goddess Blessing, I think it's called, the DR. 25% DR on the target you're pocketing. 25% DR is massive. But the thing is, you have to min-max that with your passive Moonlight to make sure you don't over-pocket somebody and waste that DR. The reason I don't think that legendary or talent is going to be viable as main support, because you're going to have the urge to want to pre-pocket people, and you waste your Moonlight, and you're not getting any healing on anybody else. And even as an off support, it's very hard to min-max it. It's something you have to practice a lot, and it's not something you'll pick up immediately. That's why I don't think that one is as good, but it is viable. And then you have Sacrifice. Sacrifice is good as a divey off support. It's kind of like, say a Pip with old Moxie, right? You dive in, you get aggressive, you get a kill or two, hopefully you live with your Mega Pot. If not, you die, but you trade kills. With this, you go in, you don't have near as much damage as Pip did, but you go in, you find a backliner, and you commit on them, you do tons of damage, possibly kill them, and then the whole team turns on you, kills you, but guess what? You drop below 200 health. I'll see you later. You teleport back to your dog, which you have hidden in your backline to make sure when you teleport it, you don't die. That is amazing. It's a good feeling when all three talents on a character are viable, and that's what it is for Io, and it's just great. It is great to see the design of the talents just working really well, the balance of them. Io's balance is extremely good, and the only change they needed to make, they made. So I'm very interested to see her in 2.08. 2.07, you may see her in a competitive level, but that moves us to the next part here. Let's talk about her viability at the three different levels of Paladins: casual, ranked, and competitive. First, casual. When it comes to casuals, I don't think she's as good because you need to have more communication and a higher, level of players. Now, I'm not saying casual players are bad, right? But maybe they are lower level and they don't have as much experience in the game and know to look for your support and know where to peek them to get healing or go back to the dog for healing. It is what it is. I don't think she's going to be as viable in lower level casuals or even at the mid-level casuals. She's just not going to be as viable. And it sucks to say that, but it is what it is. But now let's move on to the second one, is ranked viability. Now, ranked players are a bit more tryhard. They try to focus more a bit when they're playing, which casual players, okay, you focus, but in ranked it's a whole nother level of focus because you're actually playing for something. Usually ranked players at, say, Platinum, Diamond, and Masters have a higher level of skill. You know, that's just what ranked means. And those players will know how to line of sight their healer, look for the dog for healing, and that's the biggest things on IO when it comes to team play. The people on your team need to be able to know how to play around you, and you need to know how to position yourself where they can play around you. And in ranked, I think she is more viable than casual. Now, do I think she's the best support when it comes to ranked? No, I don't think she's going to be that good. But the viability is there in ranked. In casual, I don't think it's that much there, unless you have a very high skill, very high skill IO. In ranked, I think the viability is there. Probably not a newer IO, but a more experienced IO can easily pull her off in ranked. And then, competitively, at the highest level of gameplay, I think she will be very viable. She brings a lot to the table when it comes to supports. And I think people are currently underestimating her potential. But the other issue is the other supports are so good right now. And when it comes down to ultimates, the other supports have way better ults than IO. So I think competitively, she might be played in a game or two, but you're not going to see her every single game like you are Genos, Ying, Damba. You won't see IO near as much as those champions. But final thoughts on IO. I think she is the highest skill cap champion hi-rez has in their arsenal and Paladins currently. I think they did an extremely good job on the release of her. They built a lot of hype around her, and then they released her. People were excited. Her lore is amazing. Her look is amazing. Her talents are amazing. Her cards are good. Everything is good about IO. Though her biggest thing is she is a high skill cap champion. It is going to take a while for people to figure out and understand how to play her and play with her, play around her. It is going to take a while before you see her come into the meta. It sucks to say it because I absolutely love IO, but that's just how it is with high skill cap champions. Atlas at release was a higher skill cap champion. He immediately wasn't first pick, first ban, but as soon as players like Diggy Dog stepped up and really started playing him, he instantly got banned and competitive like, whoa, DPS player playing tank knows how to frag an Atlas, get that out of here. And then everybody finally caught up after him. Diggy was the first one to pick up Atlas and play him well. And after that, everybody did, and then he started just getting banned. But that's IO in a nutshell. She is a fun champion. She is fun to learn. If you are looking to play a high skill cap champion and really grind something out, I suggest IO for you. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I also hope you enjoy your day, night, evening, morning, dawn, dusk, whatever it is where you live. And I will see you in the next one. Later.
And a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters: Captain Splashclaw,
Joshua,
Branchflower, Yosef Slasso,
Jazzy Caddis Game, MV Panda,
and all other Patreon supporters. Thank you so much.